Welcome to the League of Nerds comic book segment number 194. I'm John Cooney here to talk to you about comics released the 7th of October 2015, beginning as usual with my first five, meaning these are the first 5 books I intend to read this week, and I'll give you a little more depth on them, starting with at number 1, Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Spider-Man has gone global. Parker Industries is more successful than ever, with offices in New York, Shanghai, London, and San Francisco, and Peter Parker is racking up the frequent flyer miles with his bodyguard Spider-Man in tow, of course. But success breeds enemies, and a reinvigorated Zodiac have also widened their scope to threaten the whole world. Join Dan Slott and Giuseppe Camuncoli as they take Spider-Man to the next level. This huge first issue also includes stories featuring Silk, Spidey 2099, Spider-Woman, and much more. Series writer Dan Slott explained the new Spider-Man, quote, Peter Parker has stepped up, he's grown, he's become the Peter Parker we've always hoped he was going to be. This company, with Peter's innovations and Peter's gumption, has gone to new heights. He's operating with Parker Industries in not just New York, but also Shanghai and San Francisco and London. He's going to be a far more global Spider-Man, and with that is going to come all new global threats, things that will really test Spider-Man like never before, close quote. Slott also mentioned Spidey's new costume, quote, the things this suit will be able to do and the innovations that Peter Parker has put into it will be astounding. And when you want to take something to the next level and make it look real, you go, hey Alex Ross, take your best shot, close quote. At number 2 we have Invincible Iron Man number 1. Exploding out of the pages of Secret Wars, one of the most popular superheroes in the world gets a gigantic new series. From the creators that brought you Ultimate Spider-Man comes a new armor, new supporting cast, new villains, and a new purpose that's going to tear itself across the entire Marvel Universe and beyond. With the shocker of a last page that will have everyone talking of the return of one of Tony's biggest nemesis, you will not want to miss this. Also, who are Tony's biological parents? The quest begins here. Series writer Brian Michael Bendis shared his plans for Iron Man, quote, Iron Man was a highly requested project for me from Marvel over the years, but there wasn't really ever a time or a place for me to do it. Now, though, David Marquez and I are done on Ultimate Spider-Man, and we wanted to try something new that was almost completely different. We wanted to do this with colorist Justin Ponsner, too, so it's the entire creative team of Miles Morales coming to Iron Man with a very specific idea of embracing the fact that Tony Stark is probably the most well-known superhero in our world and the Marvel Universe. And with that, there's certainly room to build his rogues gallery up. When compared to other heroes of his ilk, his rogues gallery is a little shallow. So David and I have spent the year developing brand new villains, a new armor with new powers, a new love interest, and really building the world around him in a very substantial way. Nothing that takes away from anything that went before, but we'll have all these new ideas, plus thank God for Kieran Gillen. He dropped this huge bomb about Tony Stark being adopted and didn't even give a hint as to who his biological parents are. So that's a giant piece of Tony that we will be developing. Also, there's a whopper at the end of the first issue that will set the tone and the story for what our first year on the book is, and it's a doozy. It's a big Secret Wars spoiler, so I'm going to have to keep it under wraps, but it's certainly a thing that people are going to be talking the most about who shows up at the end of the first issue, close quote. At number 3, we have Jughead number 1. In the grand tradition of comic book reboots like Archie number 1, Archie Comics proudly presents Jughead number 1 from the comics dream team of Chip Zdarsky of Howard the Duck and Erica Henderson of The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Riverdale High provides a quality education and quality hot lunches, but when one of those is tampered with, Jughead Jones swears vengeance. Well, we mean he doesn't swear. This is still Archie Comics after all. Series writer Chip Zdarsky spoke about his love for the character, quote, Jughead is one of the characters that I totally attempted to emulate when I was younger. Cool without being cool, voracious appetite, a slacker who doesn't always live up to his potential. It's true I also tried to emulate Garfield, but my parents really drew a line with me sleeping all day and pooping in a box. But honestly, Jughead was always there when I was a kid. The digests were such a staple of my family road trips that I have no specific first memory of them because I'm pretty sure they put one in my hands as soon as I could read at the age of 14. If you asked me a year ago which characters I'd love to write one day, it would be Jughead, Howard, and Spider-Man, so it's been a pretty great year even though I've broken Spider-Man and Howard the Duck. Sorry. Close quote. At number 4, we have Secret Wars number 6 of 9, The Final War. Marvel Comics recently announced that the Secret Wars series would expand from 8 to 9 issues. In the press release, David Gabriel, Marvel's Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing, said, quote, "This extra issue will not affect any of the new launches as part of all new, all different Marvel, but there might be a surprise or two left from Battleworld you weren't expecting. In fact, like the original Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, some of those puzzle pieces will hit the Marvel Universe before the event concludes, but if you want to see how they all fit together, you don't want to miss the last few issues." Close quote. Marvel Editor-in-Chief Axel Alonso was also quoted in the press release, quote, "Apparently Secret Wars is even bigger than we thought it was. To help Jonathan and Assad conclude the epic event as big and bombastically as it started, we're doing an extra issue. That means one more month of the suspense, action, and game-changing storytelling that fans and retailers have been clamoring for since the final incursion started." Close quote. At number 5, we have Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens Shattered Empire number 2 of 4. For the first time in the new Star Wars canon, journey with us to the time after the end of Return of the Jedi. Writer Greg Rucka and artist Marco Cicchetto take us past the destruction of the second Death Star into the chaos of a shattered empire. Series writer Greg Rucka discussed the premise of the book, quote, "When you're young and you see Jedi, you can look at the happy ending and go, hey, it's over. But you get older and you start to think about it and you realize, no, it's not. It's not over at all. The Empire still has resources. The Empire still has an enormous fleet. They may be in disarray post the Battle of Endor, but to think that in that vacuum people aren't stepping up is short-sighted." Close quote. Rucka went on to say, quote, "We'll see at the beginning of issue 2 the Alliance aiding in the liberation of a capital on a new world, not a world we've visited in the films. We see there a hint that the Empire has no intention of going quietly into the dark night. One assumes that there's an uptick in support for the Alliance, people who are now willing to take up arms with the news that they blew up the Death Star. The Emperor's gone. This is our chance, but by the same token, the Empire now has to double down. They cannot risk not defending what they hold with all their power because they've got to know how tenuous their position is these first couple of weeks after Endor." Close quote. Rounding out the top 10 at number 6, we have Star Wars number 10, Luke Skywalker imprisoned. His friends race across the galaxy to save him before he enters the arena of death. At number 7, we have Darth Vader number 10. Vader has a new mission to do for the Empire. Unfortunately, it's completely at odds with his own mission. What's a Dark Lord to do? At number 8, we have All New, All Different Point 1 number 1. In the aftermath of Secret Wars, it's an all-new, all-different Marvel Universe, and this is your one-stop entry point into the changes and mysteries that have been developing during the 8 months that have passed. Featuring new stories of Daredevil, Carnage, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Contest of Champions. At number 9, we have Avengers number 0. The kickoff to the all-new Avengers line begins here with new stories of all-new, all-different Avengers, Squadron Supreme, A-Force, New Avengers, Ultimates, and Uncanny Avengers. Someone is carefully studying the movements of the Avengers and those in their orbit, but do they mean to harm or help? Find out the first clues in this spectacular launch issue. And at number 10, we have Old Man Logan number 5. Logan has climbed the walls and broken the barriers between the domains of Battleworld. He has seen the horrors of the post-apocalypse world, been hounded by his world's thundering police force, but his ignorance of the world's laws will not protect him from its justice. This old man is haunted by the dead. Let's see how he fares with the unvariety. For the best of the rest from DC Comics, we have Action Comics number 45. As this new epic begins, the Man of Steel's identity as Clark Kent has been exposed. He's been beaten and pushed to the brink in his quest to regain his powers while his enemies have gathered their forces. And now Clark must ask himself the ultimate question, should he even continue as Superman? As the action begins, a new hero emerges to fight for justice and against Superman. Next, we have Batman and Robin Eternal number 1. It's here at last, the sequel to the blockbuster weekly series Batman Eternal. 5 years ago, Batman and Robin worked the most disturbing case of their crime-fighting careers, bringing down the organization of the ultimate human trafficker, the mysterious woman known only as Mother. At the time, Dick Grayson never quite understood the scope of that case, but now its darkest secrets are coming back to haunt him and everyone else who ever worked with Batman. With Bruce Wayne now lost to them, Dick and his allies are out in the cold. Who can they trust? Is someone among them not who they say they are? And who is the deadly silent young woman in black who's come to Gotham City looking for Batman? Prepare yourself for 6 months of international intrigue, twists and turns, and new additions to the world of Batman and Robin from showrunners James Tynion IV and Scott Snyder, and writers Tim Seeley, Steve Orlando, Genevieve Valentine, Ed Brisson, and Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly. We've also got Cyborg number 3. Cyborg is our only defense against a freakish new army of invading metal aliens known as the Techno-Sapiens. Plus the Tech Breakers are back. They killed him the last time. Are they back to finish the job? Next we have Detective Comics number 45. A brand new epic begins as the superstar team of writer Peter J. Tomasi and artist Marcio Takara takes the new Batman on his first mission with the Justice League. When Jim Gordon is approached by the Justice League to solve a series of mysterious mass murders, he must turn his focus away from Gotham City and test his mettle with the world's greatest heroes. And we have Telos number 1. The villain of the world-shattering Convergence event stars in his own new series. Set loose from his planetary tether at the end of the best-selling Convergence, Telos finds himself free and able to traverse time and space via a sliver of Brainiac's powers. As this epic begins, he embarks on an odyssey, journeying across time and space in search of his past. From Marvel Comics, we've got Contest of Champions number 1, Welcome to the Battle Realm, a broken section of space-time where cosmic beings gamble for the ultimate power while their unwilling pawns fight for their lives and a chance to return back to Earth. Who will survive the Contest of Champions? Next we have Doctor Strange number 1, Who do you call when things are coming out of your dreams and trying to kill you? Or when your daughter is cursing in Latin and walking like a spider? Or when your dog keeps screaming at you to strangle your neighbor? Doctor Strange, of course. He's the only person standing between us and the forces of darkness, but has he been paying his tab? Every act of magic has a cost, and Jason Aaron and Chris Bacalo are going to put Stephen Strange through hell to even the scales. We've also got Marvel Superhero Spectacular number 1, a superhero extravaganza the likes of which the world has never seen. Get a front row seat to the hottest ticket in town as we unveil Saturnalia and the Interstellar Circus Spectacular. But there's more to these 3 rings than meets the eye, featuring a wild array of new characters and some of Marvel's all-time most popular superheroes, including the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Spider-Man. Next we have Miracleman by Gaiman and Buckingham number 3. Miracleman's creator, Dr. Emil Gargunza, is back, but how does Andy Warhol factor into this return? Gaiman and Buckingham explore the nature of identity and art in the Golden Age with notes from the underground. Retrieval continues as familiar faces are discovered deep within the warp well, including material originally presented in Miracleman number 19, plus bonus content. We've also got Powers number 5. The truth behind the massive influx of new powers is revealed, and Dina discovers that a terrible family secret is behind it all. An all-new explosive chapter of the award-winning Cops and Capes mashup that's taken the PlayStation Network by storm, plus another exclusive look behind the scenes of the Powers TV show. Next we have Siege number 4. The Last Stand of the Shield. Well, that certainly doesn't sound ominous. We've also got Spider Island number 5 of 5. Venom and his band of mighty monsters take the fight to the Spider Queen once and for all. This time, though, he's not going it alone. He'll have a web-slinging wonder by his side. Plus, don't miss the conclusion to the return of the one and only Mayday Parker as Spider-Woman by DeFalco, Friends, Buscema, and Crossley. Next, we have Star Wars Lando number 5 of 5. It began as the heist of a lifetime. Now it's a fight to survive. When Lando and Lobot took this gig, it seemed like an easy payday. But with this conclusion, they will never be the same. We've also got What If Infinity Inhumans number 1 one-shot. What if the Inhumans took over Earth? Black Bolt is the new supreme ruler of Earth, but what happened to Earth's mightiest heroes? And we have What If Infinity Thanos number 1 one-shot. What if Thanos joined the Avengers? Thanos made a deal with the Avengers to use his army to protect Earth from the invading forces, but it came with a cost. From Image Comics, we have Codename Baboushka, the Conclave of Death number 1. What if the sexy Russian Bond girl was actually the hero? Codename Baboushka is an action-packed modern pulp spy thriller full of high-stakes thrills in exotic locations with a kick-ass female hero in the style of James Bond and Modesty Blaze. Written by Anthony Johnston and illustrated by Shari Chikama, the enigmatic Contessa is a wealthy socialite, the last heiress to a noble Russian line and secretly a deadly assassin. Blackmailed by the U.S. government to carry out dirty jobs even the CIA can't sanction, she's got nothing to lose and everything to fight for. Next we have Paper Girls number 1. Saga writer Brian K. Vaughan launches a brand new ongoing series with superstar Wonder Woman artist Cliff Chiang. In the early hours after Halloween of 1988, 4 12-year-old newspaper delivery girls uncover the most important story of all time. Stand By Me meets War of the Worlds in this mysterious young adult adventure, starting with a spectacular double-sized first issue for the regular price of just $2.99. We've also got Plutona number 2 of 4. After discovering the body of Plutona, the world's greatest superhero, in the woods, 5 kids must decide what to do next, a decision that may tear their young lives apart. And we have Starved number 5. Thus endeth the first story arc with the showdown at Master Paleo Barbecue. Platters of smoked meat and life lessons learned, what's not to like. From Valiant Entertainment, we have Bloodshot Reborn number 7. The hunt is on. As responsible as Ray Garrison feels for the violence unleashed by his old nanites, he finds himself with another more familiar and painful responsibility, the life of a woman he loves. How will Ray keep magic safe, avoid the federal manhunt that's closing in on him, and stop his imposter before they kill again? And we've got Imperium number 9. Jump on board here. The Vine Imperative Part 1. Toyo Harada's war to save humanity by taking over the world roars on against the only enemy the planet cannot contain, a sinister network of undercover alien spies. A deadly chess game between Harada and the alien visitors called the Vine has been unfolding for decades. The Vine once even created the living weapon called LV-99 to assassinate their enemy, but failed. Today, as Harada executes his agenda upon Earth, with LV-99 on his side this time, the Vine's Cold War finally turns infernally hot. Jump on board the series that Bloody Disgusting calls the height of sophisticated comic book stories, here with a powerful new story arc from New York Times bestselling writer Joshua Dysart and Red Hot artist Kafu. Out in trades this week, we have The Walking Dead Compendium Volume 3 trade paperback. Just in time for the new season of The Walking Dead on AMC, the fan-favorite New York Times bestselling series returns with its third massive paperback collection. With over 1,000 pages, this volume contains the next chapter of Robert Kirkman's Eisner Award-winning continuing story of survival horror. Rick Grimes' dream of rebuilding civilization is tested as the people of Alexandria come into contact with other communities that have developed their own methods of survival. Collects The Walking Dead number 97 through 144. Next, we have Star Wars Volume 1 Skywalker Strikes trade paperback. The greatest space adventure of all returns to Marvel. Luke Skywalker and the ragtag rebels opposing the Galactic Empire fresh off their biggest victory so far, the destruction of the massive Death Star. But the Empire's not toppled yet. Join Luke, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, and the rest of the Rebel Alliance as they fight for freedom against Darth Vader and his evil master, the Emperor. But when a rebel assault goes wrong, Han and Leia must think fast to make their escape, while Luke comes face to face with Darth Vader. In the explosive aftermath, a humbled Luke returns to Tatooine to learn more about his mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Meanwhile, Leia and Han undertake a vital and dangerous secret mission. But can they succeed without Luke? Plus the menace of Boba Fett, collecting Star Wars number 1 through 6. And we have Star Wars Darth Vader Volume 1 Vader trade paperback. The original Dark Lord of the Sith stars in his first ongoing series. Ever since Darth Vader's first on-screen appearance, he has become one of pop culture's most popular villains. Now follow Vader straight from the ending of A New Hope and the pages of the new Star Wars comic book into his own solo adventures, showing the Empire's war with the Rebel Alliance from the other side. But when a Dark Lord needs help, who can he turn to? As Vader pursues a very personal vengeance against the rebels and investigates the Emperor's secret machinations, he clashes with weapon scavenger Aphra and deadly battle droids, and returns to Geonosis to build an army. But some very powerful people don't want him to learn the truth he seeks. Guest starring Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, and more. Collecting Darth Vader number 1 through 6. Okay, so that's just a few of my favorite books out this week. There's still plenty of others available, and I broke out all the Marvel titles this week in their own video, as well as a separate video for all of DC, and even a video with the top independent publishers, and you can find them all on my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com. You can also now find He's Got Issues on eBay at he'sgotissues.com/eBay for great deals on comics, trades, and superhero and pop culture merchandise with free shipping in the US. And of course, you can still find me on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Twitter, and Instagram to see everything I'm reading as I read it. There's links to everything in the About section at he'sgotissues.com. And a reminder that both He's Got Issues and the League of Nerds are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.